This is Jack Whitaker, and the CBS Sports Spectacular today is going to show you one of the hardest fought, most widely discussed fights in recent years. The 12-rounder between Floyd Patterson and George Chuvalo. As you know, there was some debate about the decision, or at least about the margin of victory. Today, you'll have your own chance to score it as you see it. We'll be showing you all the action, including pre-fight ceremonies and post-fight interviews. The fight itself will be called, as it was that night, by Don Dunphy and Muhammad Ali, or Cassius Clay. But in addition, we have our own panel of experts here who will look at the fight and its possible consequences with you. No one can be more expert than our first guest, since he is the party of the first part, Floyd Patterson, the only man in history to regain the world's heavyweight championship. Our second guest is also an only man in history, Rocky Marciano, the only heavyweight champion to retire without losing a single professional fight. And our third guest is the only man ever to write the biographies of Floyd Patterson and Rocky Marciano. He's Milton Gross, sports columnist of the New York Post and the North American Newspaper Alliance. We'll join Don Dunphy and Cassius Clay at ringside in just a moment. And now we take you to ringside at Madison Square Garden.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Don Dunphy, a ringside commentator. Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous sports arena, is jam-packed with 19,000 enthusiastic sports fans tonight. Here's Floyd Patterson, at 21, the youngest man to win the heavyweight crown. And after losing it to Ingemar Johansson, the only man ever to regain it by stopping Ingemar in a return. Now Floyd wants the crown back. And George Chuvalo stands at the threshold of a great opportunity. Recently, he burst into contention by knocking out number 1 ranked Doug Jones. A win tonight could get him a shot at the title. Chuvalo, who stands 6'1", has won 29 of his 39 fights with 8 losses and 2 draws. He's knocked out 23 and has not been stopped. Patterson stands 6 feet. He's won 41 out of 45 with 4 losses, has stopped 31 and has been hauled at 3 times. At the commission weigh-in, Patterson at 197 1/4, the heaviest of his career, Chuvalo 207. Now it's a pleasure to introduce the man who is going to be my co-worker on this broadcast, Muhammad Ali, better known to sports fans as Cassius Clay, the heavyweight champion of the world. Champ, how does this fight look to you?
Well, Don, I will tell you, I went to both camps, as you read about. Both boys in tip-top condition. Floyd Patterson is punching sharp. He's determined this is either do or die for him, another chance at championship. George Chuvalo, this is a do or die for him. Either he'll have a shot at the title, and this should be a great, great fight. And I'll pick George Chuvalo to win within 5 rounds because Floyd has a rather glass jaw, but I hear he's real strong now. But the fans are excited night to night, and the one who wins will deserve a shot at my crown.
All right, that's very fine, Muhammad Ali, the heavyweight champion. And now, let's go up into the center of the ring and Johnny Addy.
Former heavyweight champion and retired undefeated heavyweight champ.
Now you'll hear the roar.
Joe Walcott and Rocky Marciano.
Oh, that fight they put on. The old Brockton blockbuster.
Here are 2 more great heavyweight champions, ladies and gentlemen. The Cinderella Man, James J. Braddock, and the Brown Bomber, Joe Louis.
They certainly are not forgotten.
And here's J.D. Joe Walcott.
There's Walcott now with Lewis. And Braddock is in there.
And ladies and gentlemen, last but far from least, another retired heavyweight champion, James J. Tunney. Gene Tunney.
Gene Tunney, his son, now a congressman in California.
Gene Tunney.
The Garden was sold out as early as last Friday. Here's Tunney.
Chevalier, you may receive your instructions this afternoon in the Boxing Commissioner's office. You were informed that the 8-second knockdown ruling and the 3 knockdown ruling are still in effect. And also in the event of a knockdown, the bell sounds with the fighter on the floor, the count will continue. If the fighter doesn't regain his feet before the count reaches 10, it will be considered a knockout. Is that clear to you, Floyd? Is that clear to you, Chevalier? Are there any questions? If not, shake hands now, come out boxing at the bell. Good luck to both.
We'll be right back with the start of the Patterson-Chuvalo fight in just a moment.
Chuvalo in black trunks, Patterson in white. Chuvalo is tremendously strong with a granite chin. Patterson has usually had the fastest hands among the heavyweights up until the present champion. They say Patterson's a boxer, but he's usually a puncher. He has a lightning light left jab, a good hook, a good combination puncher. It's going to be rough. Two minutes left in round one. As you can see, Chuvalo likes to work the body. Zach Clayton, the referee. A little blood coming from Chuvalo's nose. And he draws a warning from the referee. So far, Chuvalo has no defense for that sharp jab. About 20 seconds left to go on the round. Round's almost over. The bell ends round one. We go back to the corner with Floyd Patterson, the former heavyweight champion who was born in Waco, North Carolina, January 4th, 1935. He's 6 feet tall. In the corner with him is manager and trainer Dan Florio. Right in front of him on the left-hand side is Ernie Fowler, and on the right-hand side, Nick Florio. Champ, how did you think Patterson looked in the first round?
Patterson surprised me, and I believe I'll have to change my mind. I'm a man who tells the truth. I believe this man won. He won the first round. He surprised me. George is fighting a little rough, a little dirty as far as boxing is concerned, hitting behind the head, holding, hitting on clinches, and he's not doing like I thought he would. But Floyd is determined, and I believe he's a threat to my title.
Round two. George Chuvalo in the black trunks, Floyd Patterson in the white trunks. Madison Square Garden, a packed house. The ringside is jam-packed. It set a record for press credentials, this fight. 290 applications for press seats. Now Patterson draws a slight warning. warned again. Madison realizes that Chuvalo is hard to hurt. One minute to go in round two. That was a big right hand. You see Patterson revert to his old kangaroo style, leaping in. Round two almost over. The bell ends round two, and we go back to the corner of George Chuvalo, the Canadian heavyweight title holder, born in Canada, Toronto, September 12, 1937. Facing him is manager Irving Ungerman. On the right-hand side is trainer Ted McWhorter. And on the left-hand side, Johnny Thulo. Champ, how does Chuvalo look to you?
Well, George Chuvalo got beat that round. Floyd Patterson got him, if you let me tell it. He's still using those holding and hitting behind the back tactics. But if Floyd Patterson just keep cool, I noticed Floyd Patterson was watching, heard that he was watching films of Iron Sonny Liston. And if you look at Floyd, you'll notice he's fighting just like I thought Liston. He's keeping his distance and holding him in clinches.
Well, Floyd, this is the first time you've seen that. How does it look from this angle?
Looks exciting.
Rocky, how did you score those first?
Yes, it was a very exciting first two rounds. Floyd surprised everybody in the house that night. He came right out there and started boxing and punching and winging them. He took some. He made it an exciting first two rounds, and he had the people in the garden right there just up on their feet. They enjoyed it right from the very beginning.
Floyd, we heard Dumpy say that you reverted to your old-time kangaroo style. Did you realize that you were leaping at the man as you're throwing those punches off your feet?
No, I didn't, frankly.
Is there many times in the fight when, are there many times in the fight when you don't realize this, you're off your feet and throwing punches?
Many times I do. I think it's more instinct than anything else.
When you fought out of the corner there in the second round, did you, and then you threw the kangaroo shortly after that, did you kind of think you had him going then?
Well, there were several times in the fight. I think that was the first time that I thought that I had hurt him. And I was trying to finish him, but unfortunately he can take a lot more than I thought he could.
Well, we have 10 more great rounds left, Floyd, and we'll be right back with rounds 3 and 4 in just one moment.
Patterson, the white trunks, Chuvalo in black. As you know, there have been no knockdowns. Nobody's been hurt. 2 minutes left in round 3 of a 12-rounder at Madison Square Garden in New York. a long time since Patterson has boxed this way. He usually comes in winging, but he's fighting smartly and expertly tonight. Hard body punches by Chuvalo. One minute left in round 3. Chuvalo hasn't gotten many good shots in at the head yet. There's the bell ending round 3. Now let's see some of the action. We've got an isolated camera here in the garden that we're going to turn loose any moment now. Meanwhile, let's hear what the heavyweight champion of the world has to say now.
Well, this fight, Don, was a little close. This was a close round. As you can see, Chuvalo's punching pretty good now. He's a little more determined, and Floyd seemed to be getting a little tired to me. But he's staying in that corner too long, you notice. He shouldn't stay in one spot too long.
Well, that was the champ bringing you up to date by way of our isolated camera. We're coming up to round 4. This bout is scheduled for 12 rounds. We have one of the most enthusiastic fight crowds in the last 25 years in this arena tonight. The last time the fight arena was sold out was 2 years ago when Cassius Clay fought Doug Jones. Here's round 4. Zach Clayton is the referee, and he's a good one. Chuvalo has discovered he's got a jab. A big right hand by Patterson. A smashing right by Chuvalo. Round 4 is half over. Now there's a minute to go in the round.
I think Chuvalo's getting a little tired. It seems to be.
Seems to be too, to me, Mohammed.
Patterson's fighting a smart fight. He's usually known for standing there and taking too many punches. As you know, he's moving.
For the crowd to die down, Champ, how does it look?
Well, as you know, they were slugging it out, fist toe-to-toe at the last round. Floyd took a few punches. I hope none of them didn't weaken him, but we will see later. It was a pretty close round. Floyd hit him with a lot of left jabs, but I'm sure he'll win.
Well, we're sitting here between rounds of this replay with former heavyweight champion Rocky Marciano, with Floyd Patterson, and with the columnist of the New York Post, Milton Gross. Rocky, what are your reactions now?
Floyd, you spent a lot of time in close with Chuvalo. Was that your plan before the battle, or did it just develop that way?
No, it just developed that way. Actually, I am more, well, most of my fights, all of my fights, I've been aggressive. And this was the first time I've ever fought a going-away battle and a defensive battle with less offense than usual. And I would say that this was a fairly new style for me, and because of this, I didn't do as well the first time as I think I'll do the next time.
Did you train to fight that way?
We had trained to fight that way to a certain degree, although I disagreed with my manager, Dan Florio. I wanted to fight an aggressive fight, but we changed tactics after a while. I agreed with him.
Through the sixth round, Floyd, have you hit him with what you consider your Sunday punch yet?
Well, I would say in those last two rounds, Chuvalo showed the determination that he has and his aggressiveness. He did hurt me a few times, and I did hit him with more or less my Sunday punch. And he came right back throwing punches, and I would say he showed a tremendous amount of courage in those last two rounds.
And we have more coming up. Rounds 7 and 8 in just a moment.
Here's round 7. Zach Clayton is the referee and doing a good job. It's a 12-round bout, and this is round 7 with a minute gone. Chuvalo ever moving in. Patterson off balance.
That was only a flip, Don.
There's a minute to go in the round.
George is strong. He's determined. Really take a punch.
Would you fight him this way, champ?
Well, I cannot reveal my secret, but I would be ready for the winner.
Come on, I won't tell anybody.
Oh, no, I hope you don't tell nobody. Floyd's fighting a smart fight. He's exactly the way I fought Liston.
Round 7 almost over. There's the bell ending round 7 here at Madison Square Garden. Got Chuvalo on the left, looking in his corner. Ted McWhorter, the trainer, is working on him now. Johnny Stulo, his manager, Irving Ungerman.
Well, Don, this is a real colorful fight. I know the fans are getting their money's worth. It's going longer, and it's not turning out like I thought it was. As I said earlier, and predicted that Chuvalo will win by knockout, but it looks like he let me down. And if Floyd can keep up this pace and look as good as he's doing, I'm sure he will be a qualified challenger for my crown after I finish business with Sonny Liston. You're looking at Floyd now, and I'm sure that he will win this fight, and he's really surprising me. I got to give him credit. He's a good fighter, and he's fighting hard.
The warning buzzer is sounded now for round 8. See Jack Schaefer with our ringside camera getting into position. There's round 8 of a 12-rounder. Packed out at Madison Square Garden, and I haven't heard anyone complain. It's been a good fight. Chuvalo keeps hoping that he'll get in the one big punch to the head that would turn it his way. Isn't that right?
I believe you're right, Don. It's only a matter of hoping he gets the lucky punch, because as it stands now, Floyd is outmaneuvering him, and he has the best boxing ability. If he can keep up the pace he started out with and stay out of those clinches.
How about that body punishment from Chuvalo?
Well, body punching means nothing if you're in good shape. Ooh, Floyd just got in a flurry of good punches. Every one of them was solid. As I said earlier, George takes a punch. Yes, those body punches will wear you out if you're not in shape, but I think he's in shape for this. He's determined to get his crown back.
2 minutes left in round 8 at Madison Square Garden.
I'd like to say hello to my mother and daddy there in Louisville, Kentucky. They're watching this fight.
A smashing right hand by Patterson.
I believe Chuvalo is shook. If Floyd can only keep on him, he'll knock him out, I believe. Oh, he's determined. He's coming back.
Well, win or lose, Floyd will know he's been in a fight.
That's right. I believe both men will. You notice Floyd is standing there like his old self. He should move if he's not too tired. Round, Don. Full of action.
Here we see Patterson in his corner. What's Dan Florio telling him now? What would you think?
Well, I'm sure he's telling him to stay out of the clinches. Floyd got hit a few times, and that's when he wasn't on the, I would say that he wasn't using his bicycle style, and he got hit a few times. But I'm sure he was telling him to keep his distance and watch him in the clinches, because he's got sharp punches on the inside.
What do you think they're telling Chuvalo, champ?
Well, it's really hard to predict something like that. Chuvalo, I imagine they're saying you got him going, just stay on him, he's tired, because Patterson do look a little leg and arm weary.
Floyd, is Cassius right? As Danny is talking to you in the corner at that time, is he telling you to move, don't get yourself caught inside?
Yes, they constantly told me, Dan and Ernie Fowler, my trainer is Ernie Fowler, they were constantly telling me to move and use the jab. I was a bit tired at that point, and sometimes when you get tired, you get a bit loose, you know, and free with yourself. And this is what was happening to me in those later rounds.
Because it seemed to me at part of this round, you try to work outside and take advantage of the ring. And then Chuvalo would close with you, and that's when you would take the body beating.
Yeah, well, see, it's going to be pretty difficult to forget my old style. My old style is I usually bore in, and I usually fight in close. But for this fight, I definitely didn't want to fight in close. We trained that way. But every now and then I would forget, and I would stay in close. But while in close, I didn't throw any punches. That was a mistake. We had trained to stay away from Chuvalo and more or less box him defensively and offensively when the opportunity presented itself.
It seemed to me that if a man was hands as fast as yours, who could move so much faster than Chuvalo, and with him being that strong, it would seem the wise thing to stay away and use the ring.
Yeah, if Chuvalo learned a little more about boxing, how to throw combinations, and he was a bit faster, he has all of the determination, and he could take a tremendous punch, in my opinion. He would be 3 times the fighter he is now if he would learn to do these things.
Well, you're not doing a bad job yourself right here, Floyd. We're going to see more of it in just 1 minute.
Here's round 9, scheduled for 12, a packed house of enthusiastic fans at Madison Square Garden. Patterson, the white trunks, Chuvalo in black. Zach Clayton, the referee.
You notice Floyd's left jabs are kind of shocking. They're really hard and solid. You see those jabs. Fighting a smart fight. This don't look like the old Floyd Patterson I used to know. Solid left hook for Floyd.
Chuvalo has never been down, keeps pouring in. Patterson piles up points. Trying to get Floyd on the ropes again, and Floyd knows it. Now there's 1 minute to go in round 9 of a 12-rounder. No knockdowns in the contest. Floyd has a headlock for a moment. Perpetual motion when those punches start raining. He is cut around the left eye. Round 9 is over, and the crowd gives them both a hand as they go back to their corners. Champ, in a moment, we may have the isolated camera, but beforehand, how about it now?
Well, I would say Floyd Patterson won the round. He moved, he had his left jab moving nice, and then when they did come into a flaring clinches, Floyd would get the best and then get out. I would give him this round, and Chuvalo was tough, hard, and determined. You're looking at the isolated camera now, and you see Floyd has solid left jabs. All of those punches connected, but you see George comes back, but he didn't really hit Floyd with a good one. So Floyd got the best of that. And all through the round, as you see, Floyd mostly outboxed him.
Champ, we're coming up to round 10 now, and
round 10? Is this round 10?
This will be round 10,
well,
so the three big ones are still ahead.
Right. Floyd,
there's Rocky Marciano, your old pal.
One of my idols.
He was a good one, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
How do you think he would have done with him?
Well, I believe Rocky would have knocked out either one of these guys in a couple of rounds.
How about you?
Well, that's hard to say. You know me. I might have to predict the round. Best man, I would say the best man would win in a fight like that.
Both you and Rocky are undefeated.
Yes, sir. I might have to retire quick like he did. I believe George got the worst of that.
Patterson could have been hurt there, champ.
Well, I didn't. You can never tell. Both of them got hit.
Yeah.
A beautiful, evenly matched fight.
Patterson has forced Chuvalo to go to the body, keeping his hands so high.
Well, I imagine his manager told him to stay at the body because it's kind of hard to hit him in the head. You notice he's fighting a lot like me. He's moving a lot.
A big flurry by Patterson.
Got tagged that time. That's a little shook.
First time anybody was really hurt.
That's right. He's pretty smart. Floyd is staying close to him. Floyd is tough.
Well, I don't think they come any tougher.
I don't think Floyd can take what George is taking.
Nobody heard the bell, or did they? There it is. What a round that was. Floyd goes back a little wobbly to his corner, and we're probably going to repeat some of that action on the isolated camera. We're trying to set it up. That was probably the most tremendous round of the fight.
Yes, that was. As you're looking at the isolated camera now, both boys were trading punches. Floyd got hit a couple of good times, and he also hit Chuvalo a few good times. As you see now, Chuvalo's really hitting Floyd. He's really hitting him, and I'm surprised Floyd didn't fall. Floyd took it, he fought a smart fight, and he stayed on him, as you see. He's keeping close to him. He's ducking some good ones, too. I have to give this Floyd credit because I didn't believe he was this smart.
Well, Floyd, that, I guess, was the darkest moment in the fight for you, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Touchdown.
Is this what you meant when you told the people afterwards that finally you could take a punch?
I think in that round I proved that, not necessarily that I can take that much of a punch, but I did prove that I don't have a China chin.
That's what I meant,
Has
the
been
China
stated,
chin
yes.
reference.
Floyd, with the fast pace that you two fellows put up for 10 rounds now, and with the amount of punches you threw and the amount of punches that Chuvalo threw, everybody realizes you have to be good and tired. I wonder if you can explain just the feeling of being weary and tired at the end of 10 fast rounds like that.
Well, as you know, Rocky, your arms begin to feel like you're holding tremendous weight in each one. Your legs begin to slow up. Overall, you feel like you're carrying a ton. And, of course, at that point, sometimes some fighters change their strategy. At that point, I didn't change my strategy. Of course, I may have stayed in a lot closer than what I was advised to or what I had trained to, but that was because of the weariness and being tired.
Boy, was it at this point before the 11th round began that your corner had told you were behind and you'd have to really come on?
Yes, when I went back to the corner in the 10th round, my manager, Dan Florio, and my trainer, Ernie, they told me that I had lost that round, I had lost it big, and that the last 2 rounds would determine the fight.
Well, we'll have the last 2 rounds for you in just one moment.
Here's Chuvalo's corner as we are ready to come up to round 11. And the crowd is literally on the edges of the seats. All 19,000 of them. Standees are up on their toes. It's round 11 of a 12-rounder.
If Floyd can keep the same pace, keep cool, he'll win the bout.
They'll both be pretty tired tomorrow, won't they, champ?
Well, I believe so. I usually am when it goes this long. But this fight is a great help to boxing. It didn't end in 1 round.
That's right.
I believe Floyd would beat Sonny Liston fighting like this. Chuvalo might try anything now. Only a couple of rounds left. 2 rounds.
Patterson was tagged a smashing left hook.
Yes, he was. Both boys landed with that left.
Chuvalo's been the aggressor, which is not to take anything from Patterson, who's fought a tremendous fight, as has Chuvalo. They're in Patterson's corner now, or were.
Floyd is really pulling out now. He's way ahead. He knows it too. He's really confident.
There have been no knockdowns.
Beautiful. I believe he shook Chuvalo.
There's the bell ending round 11. It's been a dandy fight. There's no question about that. And we're going to come up now to the 12th and final round. Any predictions now, champ?
Well, I predict that Floyd should win this fight and will be the next contender for me after I finish with Mr. Sonny Liston. This was a good round. Floyd Patterson won it easy. If he keep the distance and just do good this round, he'll win the fight easy on points.
Zach Clayton, the referee, went to each corner to tell them that the final round is coming up. There have been no knockdowns. Each has taken the best punches the other could throw. Twelfth and final round. Referee Zach Clayton will have them touch gloves. Chuvalo, the black trunks, Patterson and white. There have been no knockdowns. The round is half over. The fight is drawing to a close. Took a deep breath before he threw that punch. Less than a minute to go. Crowd is starting to applaud. Seconds left, 30 seconds. Now, apparently there will be no knockout. Time is running out. Almost over. Dive between them. Listen to the crowd.
Well, as you see, this fight was a beautiful fight. Floyd Patterson surprised me. He won it. And I guess he's the next man for me as soon as I finish Lister. A great fighter. Floyd, he's shaking everybody's hand. I hope he come over here and shake mine. Beautiful fight. I'm really surprised Floyd is ready. I understand he was watching films of Sonny Liston and I, and if you notice his ducking and his dancing and his moving and backing, it was identically the way it was when I fought Liston. Beautiful fight. I'm really surprised, and I bet on the wrong man.
We'll have the decision on this fight in just a moment.
The commissioners are looking at the cards now. I'm sure there's no doubt about who won. Everyone, plus the referee, should have voted for Patterson. I know I would. It was easy to see that Floyd Patterson is the winner. Now he should have a crack at my title. And I'm sure the fans out there would love to see Johnny Addy now taking the judge's slips. Beautiful fight, Floyd Patterson. Beautiful fight. Now we must hear the decision. Beautiful.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's the decision. Referee Zach Clayton scores it 6-5, 1 even for Patterson.
One vote for Patterson by the referee.
Judge Tony Castellano, 7-5, favor of Patterson.
Patterson is the winner.
The other judge, Joe Armstrong, 8-4, Patterson. Floyd Patterson.
Patterson by unanimous decision. Floyd Patterson by unanimous decision. Half the crowd likes it and the other half doesn't. Well, I'm trying to get started here. When the current champ gets through. Floyd, I guess it wasn't nearly as rough with Chuvalo as it was with Clay, was it?
Well, in my honest opinion, Chuvalo, I had trained to fight him this type of a fight, to be aggressive. And as you can see, every time I pressed and tried to be aggressive, that was the only time that I really got hit with some stinging shots.
Well, Floyd,
I did learn that fighting Chuvalo, this type of fight, I cannot beat him.
Well, Floyd, in the excitement, I forgot to congratulate you. I thought it was one of your finest fights because it had been so long since you went more than 6 rounds. How did it feel to you?
Well, because of Chuvalo's constantly pressing me, throwing punches, throwing legal punches in the clinches, I was unable to...
Did you say illegal?
No, legal.
Oh, legal, I'm sorry.
Legal punches, I was unable to quote with his strength, so therefore I decided to box him.
All right, now I guess the usual question, what about your plan? Would you like to, of course you'd like to fight Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay, the heavyweight champion, wouldn't you?
Well, my main goal is to fight Cassius Clay, and if I am successful, then I would fight Sonny Liston and then retire.
Well, Mr. Clay says you're going to get a title shot, and good luck to you, Floyd. I know you're tired. It was a rough fight. How about Chuvalo? What kind of a person is he?
Well, although I know Mr. Chuvalo feels very, very badly, I can honestly say that he gained a tremendous amount of fans tonight, perhaps more than I, because of his constant power, constant pressing, and I was unable to cope with his strength.
One more thing, Floyd. I think it's a tremendous tribute to both of you that you packed this garden. Thank you and good luck.
Thank you.
Floyd.
Can I take a fairly good punch now? My chin is not so childish now.
you take a dandy punch. You took some real good ones. Good luck to you, Floyd. Thank you. And now here's the champ for his comments.
Go ahead. Floyd Patterson has proved his worth. He will get a shot at me as soon as I can get Sonny Liston out of the way. He put up a good show, a beautiful fight. He surprised me. He beat Chuvalo, which is a tough fighter, who recently beat Doug Jones. He is really a tough fighter. I must give him his credit. He fought a beautiful fight, and I'm afraid I'm going to have to go to training camp and get there early. Everybody's taking pictures. I know Floyd Patterson is happy. He's been down so much, and now he's back on top. And I'm sure the fans are surprised. Everybody got their money's worth, and I got my money's worth.
Champ, how do you feel about being a boxing commentator?
Well, this is rather tough, Don. I believe I'll stick to boxing. I don't like to talk so much. You have to talk too much when you're working on these things.
Well, there it is. And we'll be right back with Rocky Marciano, with Floyd Patterson, and Milton Gross in just a moment. Well, the nice thing about this is we've just seen the fight, and now we're going to talk about it with some pretty important people. First of all, from Brockton, Massachusetts, as you know, the only man ever to retire undefeated as heavyweight champion of the world, Rocky Marciano. Floyd Patterson, of course, very important to this fight and our discussion in general, and a man who knows both of them very well. He wrote books about both of them. Milton Gross of the New York Post, writing a biography of Rocky Marciano, I Fought All the Way, and of Floyd Patterson, Victory Over Myself. So to get it started, Floyd, you're usually rating yourself against the perfect Floyd Patterson, and I wonder how you rate yourself in this fight against George Chuvalo.
Well, I thought that I fought a very smart fight, outside of the fact that I stayed in close too much and I let myself get pinned against the ropes too much. Other than that, I thought I fought a very smart fight. But in my opinion, in the future, if my opponent, George Chuvalo, should get a little more experience in boxing, and should learn how to throw combinations with everything else, in my opinion, he will make a very, very good fight in the future.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, this is the first that I've seen the film, and I'm more impressed now with Chuvalo's determination than I was in the actual fight. I didn't know he was that determined and aggressive.
Were you impressed at all with Floyd Patterson?
Oh yes, I was impressed that I was able to beat such a man as Chuvalo. Yes.
Floyd, we know now that you fought the fight with a bad hand. Why did you do it?
Well, Milton, I have something to say about that. Actually, I hurt my hand down in Puerto Rico in December. I had my doctor, Dr. Michael Blatt, fly down to Puerto Rico a week before the fight, take x-rays of the hand, and he gave me some kind of treatment. I forget the name of it. And I was able to fight the fight in Puerto Rico, and the hand was slightly injured there.
How is the hand now? The hand is all right now, is it?
Yes, the commissioned doctors, they've already x-rayed it again and looked at it, and they all find it in very good condition now. Judging from the fight, as you can see, it didn't look like anything was wrong with the hand in the actual fight, because I used my left more than the right.
Well, that speaks well for Floyd Patterson's determination, too.
Floyd, Chuvalo said after the fight that Zach Clayton, the referee, was continually breaking up the clinches and preventing him from fighting his kind of fight. What's your comment on that?
Well, I do not wish to discredit my opponent, Chuvalo, to any degree, because I have a tremendous amount of admiration for him now. However, I will say that Zach Clayton, the referee, did do the right thing in breaking the clinches. After the fight, the only injuries that I had after the fight was 2 blood vessels in the back on each side, in which I'm being treated for right now. And I would say that the referee broke the clinches, because my opponent, Chuvalo, which was partially my fault, whenever he would throw a punch to the midsection, I would switch to the side. So I would say it was partially my fault also, and I think that's the reason why the referee continuously broke the clinches.
Rocky, you and Chuvalo have been compared as far as styles go. Is that true about that style?
Yes, we have a similar style. In fact, I noticed throughout the fight that Chuvalo stayed very much to the body. A lot of people probably wondering why he did just that. I think the reason for it are because Floyd is so fast in there that you have to hit him to the body first to sort of find him, to sort of try to hurt him and bring his guard down. Punches to the head early in the fight can make you look very bad when you miss. And I think Chuvalo did just that, hitting to the body, trying to weaken Floyd around the middle, eventually hoping that the guard would come down and then shoot to the head. I think he started a bit too late, throwing for the head. I do think, though, that it was a wise fight on his part to stay with the body. A less formidable, an opponent like Floyd, who was so determined and so strong and so conditioned, just took everything he had, but there aren't too many of those around, and other fights, fighting another man, it would have been a good fight for him.
Hilton?
Floyd, you've been fighting now for some 13 years as a pro, 15 years in all. How much further do you intend to go on?
Well, my main goal is to get another chance with Sonny Liston. Of course, at this point, I still don't feel that I deserve another chance with him. I would even pay to see it myself. I feel that if I got the chance to fight Cassius Clay, and I was successful with him, well, then I would be deserving a chance to fight Sonny Liston again. But of course, at this point, Clay would have to fight Liston and beat Liston again.
Well, this may take a little more time, certainly another year, I would think, perhaps more. And in all these years, you've paid a price for this. You've paid a price in isolation, in seclusion, in being away from your children, your family. Is the price worth it that you have paid?
Well, Milton, let me put it this way. If I had it all to do over again, which includes all the defeats, I would do it.
There haven't been many defeats, Lloyd.
Well, not many, but when there was, there really was.
So the price was worth it, then?
Yes.
Rocky, you retired for similar reasons, family. Would you say boxing's worth the price?
Boxing certainly is worth the price if you give it everything you've got. I gave it 8 years of complete effort. Just like Floyd here, I was at a camp 90% of the time. I was fortunate in that I kept very active. I was fortunate in that I was able to continue to win and wrap up an 8-year career. I feel certain that it was well worth the 8 years I put into it.
Now, where does boxing go from here now, Floyd? There are people who've said, in effect, that a week ago, when you fought this fight against Chuvalo, you virtually saved boxing. You put it back on its feet. Do you think boxing is back on its feet again?
Well, I don't actually feel that I actually saved boxing. I think eventually boxing would get back on its feet itself. I just feel that I more or less gave it a boost, that's all.
Now, how much of a boost do you think you've given to yourself?
Well, I think I have moved another notch up. I think now that I beat Chuvalo convincingly, that I more or less really deserve a chance with Mr. Clay now. Of course, if he's successful with Sonny Liston.
If Liston beats Clay, then what?
Well, if Liston beats Clay, I would want to fight Clay anyway. Because regardless of how you look at it, I would have to go through Clay in order to get to Liston.
And then you feel that you'll be ready for Sonny this time?
Yes.
You would pay your way in to see that fight?
That one I would, if I was successful with Clay, yes.
Pay more than a penny.
I think a Floyd Patterson Cassius Clay fight would be a real great match. I have heard people all over the world right now talk about that fight. It just looks like it's the best match possible.
Cassius said during the fight there, Rocky, that you could have knocked Floyd or George Chuvalo out in one round.
Oh, we don't like to talk about those things. A young, good-conditioned fellow like Floyd Patterson is too unpredictable.
Well, gentlemen, I'd like to thank you very much for being here. Milton Gross, thank you. New York Post syndicated columnist, Rocky Marciano, and, of course, Floyd Patterson, and we'll wish you the best of luck, Floyd.
I'd like to say, if you don't mind,
not at all.
Thank you to all of my friends up in Marlborough for giving me their support and coming down to the